The NHL 25 Deep Dive has been released, and in this video, I'm going to break down everything you need to know. Now, the biggest gameplay changes are coming from what's called the Ice Cube system, and it breaks down into 3 separate pillars. Starting first, we've got NextGen vision control. Now, we saw this highlighted in the reveal trailer, but we get a more enhanced look here, showing off what you're going to be able to do while using vision control in NHL 25. What NextGen vision control allows is when you are in the offensive zone and you have it activated, it'll keep the target of your player to the net. Again, where I think you're going to see this utilized the most is going to be at the blue line. In prior games, if you were trying to walk the blue line, you could really only go left or right, and if you were using vision control, it would line your stick up parallel with the blue line and away from your body, meaning that it was a very dangerous thing to utilize if someone was aggressive at the point. With NextGen vision control, it will allow you to make sideways cuts and crossovers left or right, keeping your body in line with the net. This will open up more passing plays, allowing you to be much more creative at the blue line than in years past. However, they also highlighted it being more effective when playing defense as well. On defense, while using vision control, it will keep your body in line with the puck, allowing you to get in front of it a little bit easier, especially when playing manual defense. So hopefully this will reward players that are trying to manually defend passes or shots by intercepting them or getting in the way. That has really plagued the game for the last few years. Also announced this week is the return of the old score clock, and in the deep dive, we got multiple looks at how it's going to look in game. Not a massive gameplay overhaul, but in my opinion, an improvement going back to the old style score clock. I also love that it's actually showing you shots in game, whereas opposed to the last 5 years, you had to just pause the game to see how many shots for and against you have. The next focus of the Ice Cube system, we've got empowered AI. Now, the simplest way to break this down is essentially your AI players will fight to get open in the offensive zone. And now every year they talk about improving the AI gameplay. In NHL 24, we saw a massive issue specifically with players not fighting to get open and really just becoming static once you set up in the offensive zone. Now, in this clip here, the St. Louis Blues are set up in the overload. Now, notice the weak side winger and how drastic he's moving left and right to try and get open. This is an extremely welcome change just because it forces manual defense to actually cover a player really effectively. Now, again, anything involving AI, you have to be extremely skeptical, but if the basis of the AI improvements is literally just moving when you're cycling the puck and not standing still, I don't know how much they could mess that up. One of the most interesting parts of the entire deep dive, in my opinion, was the fact that apparently they have rebuilt all of the offensive strategies from the ground up.
All of Cello's in-zone strategies have been rebuilt from the ground up.
If you've been watching my channel for years, you know that I harp on them for using the same 3 offensive strategies for the last 20 years, with the overload, behind the net, and crash the net being the only ways to create offense. But we'll have to wait and see if they're actually any different. Now, it does look like this will also impact your AI off the rush. As you can see in these examples, the trailer will actually enter a glide and no longer beeline it right towards the net to give you an extra option off the rush. And the final piece of the Ice Cube gameplay system is Reactive Actions. Now, what Reactive Actions looks to address is the players that will just run into each other. In NHL 25, it does appear that the AI will actually make motions to get out of the way of one another, whether that's players on your own team or opposing players in, let's say, off the faceoff. I don't believe that this is going to have a drastic change on gameplay. I think it is just another piece to make the game look a little bit more cleaner, as opposed to the jarring animations where you find players just trying to skate at their top speed while their legs are locked on an opponent and they're just stuck in mud. They're also introducing panic turns, where if you overcommit, your player will make a extremely drastic cut to try and get back defensively. Again, I don't know how much of an impact this is going to have on the overall game. And the last marquee addition to gameplay in NHL 25 is skill-based one-timers. Now, in 1v1 specifically, we've seen clean one-timers go in, especially from distance, at a far reduced rate than we have in years past, simply because of the human goalie animations that were added in NHL 23. What skill-based one-timer looks to do is reward a player for taking a well-timed and well-set-up one-timer. Now, how this is going to work is while you are cycling the zone or off the rush, you will see a player in the offensive zone light up with an indicator below his skates, signaling he's in a position for a one-timer. If you feed the player into their wheelhouse and flick up at the last second as the puck comes into your player, you'll be rewarded with a more accurate one-timer. However, if you are late or too early, your accuracy on the shot will take a hit, sometimes resulting in just missing the net completely. So here's my prediction on what I think the Ice Cube system will be like in NHL 25. I do not think it is going to feel like an entirely new skating system and that it is going to be completely groundbreaking for the franchise. What I do predict is that the game is going to look much cleaner than in years past. I think that when you break down each of the individual things that they are adding in, so the reactive actions, the next-gen vision control, and the empowered AI, I think that each individual one is not really going to provide this crazy new gameplay experience, but when you add them together, I do think it will look cleaner. We shouldn't have as many players running into each other to cause offsides or off of the face-off to just make things look messier. The vision control, while I think a lot of people are going to focus on that maybe being overpowered, especially since last year they all but took it out of the game, I do think that it does look more fluid from what we've seen so far. But again, we're not really going to know all of that until about a month or two into the game when everyone gets their hands on it and we sort of flush out how the game is really being played. When it comes to skill-based one-timers, my fear is that one-timers just go in all of the time now, and I really hope that isn't the case. I know I've stated many times that I do want to see more one-timers go in, just because it was such a dramatic shift to completely take them away in NHL 23 and 24. I'm specifically talking about 1v1 in huts. World of Chow one-timers are obviously still prevalent, but I do hope the skill-based aspect of one-timers is difficult enough where after 3 weeks of the game, everyone is just hauling off green, big, huge piss missiles from the point, and they all just go in. Again, all things that we're gonna have to see once everyone gets their hands on the game. And my last big concern is that it does look like in NHL 24 and 25, they are going to a much more arcadey way to play the game. And while I know there are players that will be out there that enjoy that, I think just from a presentation standpoint, we need to be able to play the game without any of the on-ice things. So in NHL 24, they added in the full pressure meter and the clock in the middle of the ice. And for 1v1, okay, that's fine. But if someone plays franchise mode or wants a more immersive gameplay, we should be able to just turn that off. And now with the new skill-based one-timers, you've got this big indicator that will light up below a player when they get set up for a one-timer. And again, it's just more stuff on the ice when I think a lot of players just want to see something that looks a lot like what you watch on TV. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below, and don't forget to subscribe for the most up-to-date news, tips, and info for NHL 25. I'll see you next time.